Today, I'm going to show you the easiest bread recipe that you can make. This is a no-knead recipe. No need a KitchenAid or a Bosch Mixer, no need a bread maker, and no need to knead the bread. This is a simple 4-ingredient recipe. We're going to be using bread flour for today's recipe, but you can substitute this for regular flour, or if you grind your own wheat, like we sometimes do, you can use your hard winter wheats, your red or your white wheats, and you can use straight wheat, or you can mix half and half. You can do half bread flour and half wheat that you ground, or you can do a mixture of those things. You can play around with it however you want to do it and whatever you have. We found that to get the fluffiest bread, using the bread flour that you can buy from the store works great. If you have your own wheat and you grind your own wheat, it works great as well. It just sometimes gets a little denser than if you're using store-bought flour. We have tried a lot of different bread recipes over the years, and this one is by far the simplest, easiest one you can do with very little equipment and very few ingredients. We have a lot of wheat. We store a lot of wheat, and we grind a lot of our own wheat. And we keep our wheat for an emergency. If there was some reason we needed to have an emergency supply of food, we have a lot of wheat. But then you wonder, well, how are we going to use this wheat if we ever had to make bread? This is a great recipe that can be used for that. And as long as you have some salt and some yeast in your storage, along with your wheat, and have access to water, you can make bread and you can feed your family. It's an awesome way to do it, and it still tastes great too. If you're gonna buy your flour from the store, this comes out to about 45 cents a loaf with the ingredients that are included. That's some cheap bread right there. I mean, and that's for good quality homemade bread, not just some gross white bread that you buy from the store that tastes like cardboard. And there's nothing better than making your own homemade bread. So we're gonna be using bread flour that we purchased from the store, and we're going to use yeast, and we're going to use salt, and we're going to use water. And that's it. That's all you have to use. And we are going to bake this bread in a Dutch oven inside of our regular oven. So here is a Dutch oven that you can use. This is what we use. A lot of people will use these over open fires and coals, but we're going to just put this directly into the oven. These are really cool. If you haven't got one of these, you can get one. There's several different sizes and styles, but these are real heavy duty. So that is all you are going to need, is those 4 ingredients and one of these Dutch oven pots with a lid. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to add 3 cups of flour. You're not going to pack the flour in. You're just going to kind of loosely shake it off to get close to a level cup. And you're going to put in 3 of those. All right. The next step is we are going to add 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. Then we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to do this over the side of the bowl just in case I spill any. Okay, and we're going to mix this up before we add the water. Get it all mixed in good. And the final step is we're going to add 1.5 cups of warm water. Then we're going to mix that around. And we're going to keep mixing this until everything is kind of blended together. It is going to be a little sticky. That's normal. You don't want to add too much water. So now the final step before we stick it in the oven is we're going to cover it with saran wrap. And we are going to leave it on the counter for 3 hours to let it rise. All right, so it's been 3 hours now, and this is what our bread is looking like. So we are going to go ahead and take off the saran wrap. We're gonna put out some flour on our countertop here. Make sure we make a big mess with it when we do it. Woo! Okay. Now we're gonna dump this out on the counter. Okay. Kind of work some of this flour around into it. And we're gonna just kind of roll it up. Get it to where it's not too sticky. Now, we're gonna put this on some parchment paper. Look at that beautiful dough. We're gonna put this into another clean bowl, like so. Now that we have our dough in the bowl, we need to let it rest for 30 minutes. We're also going to place a warm, damp rag over the top of it while it rests. Now that we've been letting the bread rest for about 15 to 20 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and get our oven preheated. We're gonna preheat the oven to 450 degrees, and we're gonna preheat it with our Dutch oven inside of it so that it can be warm when we place our bread in it. All right, our bread has now been resting for 30 minutes, and the oven is preheated to 450 degrees, so we are gonna go ahead and remove the Dutch oven that's inside of it, and we're going to place our bread inside of the Dutch oven and put it back inside of our conventional oven here, and we're gonna let it bake for 30 minutes. Be careful now, because it's gonna be hot. Don't go in there and grab it with your hands, all right? So now we're going to go ahead and place our bread and the parchment paper inside the Dutch oven. Be careful, it's hot, it's hot. Don't burn yourself. We're going to put the lid back on, and we're going to put this in the oven for 30 minutes. For you guys out there that think making bread is not so manly, this is how you become the real breadwinner in your family. My wife loves the fact that I make a lot of dough. All right, the bread has been baking for 30 minutes now, and we need to let it go for 5 more minutes, but we're gonna take the lid off for the last 5 minutes. So it's gonna be in for a total of 35 minutes, but we wanna take the lid off just to give it a few minutes to brown the top of that bread. Make sure you are very careful. This is very hot. Make sure you use a hot pad when you do it. Okay, it's been another 5 minutes now. It's time to take our bread out of the oven and let it cool. Now I went ahead and set this directly on the granite. The granite, it's okay, but you may have some other type of countertop that can't handle the heat. Just make sure you put it down on a hot pad. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the bread now from the Dutch oven. I'm gonna set it out on the counter. We're gonna let that cool for just a little bit. So it looks like the bread has baked perfectly. It's got just a perfect amount of brown on the top. It's got just a little bit of crunchiness on the outside. It looks excellent. And to top it off, we're gonna use some butter that we made from cream from our cows that we milk. And we are also going to use some local honey on top of the bread. I don't see how you can get any better of a meal than that. So this is my favorite part of the whole process. It is time to cut into this bread and eat it. Oh, looking amazing. bring in our butter that we made from the cream, from the milk from our cows. I'll butter this bread up. And we are going to add a little bit of local honey to it. This is gonna be so good. And now for the taste test. My favorite part. No, that was good bread. For as simple as this recipe is, that's some good tasting bread. No knead bread. It's a simple recipe, and as many of you know, this simple life sometimes ain't so simple. So little things like this that can make our lives easier and still great tasting, I'm all for it. Well, good luck with your recipes. Good luck with your bread. Thanks for joining us. Take care. I want to so bad. It just looks so good. It's like a sucker, like a honeysucker.
No.
Come on.